So today we're going to talk about violence. Personally, I think the way people are about violence is really weird. I don't understand where they draw the lines, or why they draw the lines where they draw the lines. But I do see the rhythm in it. I get it, and I try to apply those same things here. So the first and easiest thing is gonna just be cutting it out, but there's already this convention in PG13-ish movies where if you have violence happening on screen, it's somehow better to just indicate it than to show it. As long as you cut right when it happens, it's okay that your lead hero is murdering people left and right. So, for instance, here, where he shoots this guy in the head,
Counting 6.
It completely conveys it with just a little bit of less blood. That's the easy thing to do. But there was also this thing I remember hearing way back in the day about the Mel Gibson movie, The Patriot. It's a really bloody movie. It's Mel Gibson. They didn't just desaturate it. They turned the blood brown. But that's their standard, and so I'm gonna follow the Hollywood standard here. Let's see. For instance, there's this guy. You can see bloody eyeball, lots of marks all over his face. Really not looking okay. But using New Blue and magic bullets, you can just kind of tone down the red, and it's really good at just focusing on just the red and not the hues around it, because there's red in skin. So if you just bring the red down, you get pale people. So you bring the orange up, and you get your glow back into the person's skin. And then I just used Magic Bullets Cosmo tool. It's basically just good for like smoothing. So it just made them look a little less rough all the way around. So I could just take those basic settings and just drop them in on pretty much any bloody scene, but then you gotta go in and sort of finesse it around to make it apply to that exact scene. Probably the most blood in the whole thing is when the dude at the end gets beat up, which this is all chopped up. This isn't just, I mean, let's get real here. You got arm breaks, you got his face just continuing to just get iced in blood like a birthday cake. And it's also like, it's cut. You don't see him pull back. It's already really chopped up. By cutting out the the crunching, breaking sounds, and I think I maybe took out a few of the punches. And then you can see just brought the blood down. There's just moments where it's necessary in here, cutting his hand off, just cut it a little bit sooner. Get the blood off, like the blood on his face, turn that black for some reason. I don't know what somebody watching that would interpret it as. I can keep him flipping the bird in there because that is okay on basic cable television now. Yay for growth. This is one I had to crop a lot. There's just a big sloop of blood there. You know, it's so funny how like everything I did in this is really just how they make kids movies with violence. It's just barely cut it out. It's like in Dark Knight when the Joker like knifes a dude's face. It almost doesn't make sense because it's just there's no blood and it's cut in such a way where you can't see it happen.
Why so serious?
And all you got to go off of is that some guy was really grossed out by the Joker just... I don't know if he cut the guy. He died instantly, too. He didn't scream his head off. Did he slit his throat? I don't know. This is how movies are made for kids when there's lots of violence. Is you just barely cut out where the violence happens and it's okay. But one of the most complicated challenges, and therefore the first one I took on to see if this was even possible, was the initial car brawl at the beginning of the movie. It's full of tone-setting violence that all had to go, but all had to stay. You don't want to remove somebody's death entirely from the movie because it's too violent and then have that person not in the next shot. So every death had to be shown while also having to be hidden. And the jokes need to stay unless there's language. And that's why it made a really good example for whether or not this was going to be possible. A couple of punches and kicks, no big deal. Got to get rid of that word. We got a neck crack and information being said at the same time. And then you kind of got to be choosy with gunshots. People are usually okay with gunshots unless there's a lot of blood flailing around or you can see the person get shot. You got a dead guy falling out of a car right there. He's just getting dragged down the road after that. We got this right here is all pretty brutal and it's just torture, dirty joke, and then it's just a bunch of blood. So first I just get rid of the neck crack and cut to him saying Francis from a different clip, so there's not the neck cracking sound coming along with it. All of this is still horrible things happening, but it's just cutting a little bit sooner so things aren't really registering. It's almost like happening subliminally. It might even be more damaging for all I know. So you don't really register that a guy just got shot 15 times and then fell out of the car and got dragged by it, but it's all still there. This one was just straight torture. It was easy enough to cut out the dirty joke, but yeah, just cut out putting it in his mouth altogether. In the original cut, it's pretty violent, it's pretty gross, but when you're making movies like this, you do extra little things to make it more unsettling. And so if you can just take those things out that they put in to make it more unsettling, then you're making it more settling. So what they did here that makes it so disturbing is the sizzling sound and the guy screaming. And they make it go on for a long time and they show the burn mark. Take out the sizzle noise and the scream. And then I thought, well, if the scream is funny, then the whole gag is funny. So I went and got myself some Homer Simpson screams and laid one of those in there. This is actually Homer Simpson screaming. No burn sound, no burn mark. Now it's funny and cute that he's being mutilated, ha ha ha. Then this part's just full of cuts. It's just no bloody decapitation. I darkened the bottom of the guy's where he got cut, so there's just like a little bit of dark spot just following that. You can kind of see it here. It's a little bit evident when you slow it down that there's just sort of a black circle over the bottom of his esophagus. You can cut out where he slams into the sign, and I think that's the end of it. A lot of this gore is CG gore. It wasn't even there when they shot it, so they put it in, and then I'm taking it out. So now, as a treat, I'm gonna show you both the scenes side by side.
Rich Corinthian leather.
I'm looking for Francis!
Have you seen this man?
Cooler weather.
Out.
Ow! Yankee, Yankee!
Wait. Did I leave the stove on?
So that's how you make a Deadpool movie less violent without losing the heart and soul of the violence. If there's any more scenes that anybody would like to see, side-by-side comparison of the original and the new cut, let me know. and maybe I can put something else up. My camera's dying, so I gotta wrap this up. I don't think I charged my other batteries anywhere.